Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. This morning, we're focusing on Roots CafeTT, Creative Academy for Edutainment. Joining us this morning is Mtima Solwazi, the founder and general manager of the oral tradition Roots Foundation, who's going to be sharing with us this morning a lot of pertinent information and how we can also get involved. Good morning and welcome back.
Good morning, good morning. It's glad to be back. Glad to be here.
We're happy to have you here, especially for such an important conversation.
Yes.
As we were talking off air, I was saying, we don't have that much time and there's so much that we need to talk about and we need to get out there. So before we get into the crux of our conversation, can you just give us a little bit of background into the Roots Cafe and the model it uses?
Right, so good morning again to your viewers and listeners. So Roots CafeTT, as mentioned, is the Creative Academy for Edutainment.
Right.
Now, it is the flagship project of the oral tradition Roots Foundation. And you all would know we have been doing work since 2005.
Yeah.
So this is a culmination of all our programming. And over the years, we have streamlined our programs, no pun intended, right? Using our stream model of storytelling,
Right.
training, reading, entrepreneurship, I can't spell stream, arts and mentorship. So that has come together in what we will be launching,
Right.
Roots CafeTT at the Tunapuna Old Post Office. Right, for those who don't know, that is adjacent to the bus terminus.
Right.
You see it in clear view coming down the bus route or even going up.
Now, let's talk about the acquisition of the post office and how
Yes.
critical it is to this movement.
So we have been leased the Tunapuna Old Post Office by the Ministry of Public Administration, Economic Affairs and Development. That's the new name now. We got a 10-year lease.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say that we also submitted the building to the National Trust because that building was established on Thursday, the 31st of January, 1889.
Oof, 1889.
Right? And it has, I went straight.
You were straight and sense.
It has been approved
Yes.
in the Assets of Heritage Inventory of the National Trust. So that in itself is a monumental task.
Yeah.
Right? It's about preserving a heritage asset and also preserving our future because that will be the home for Roots CafeTT.
And that's beautiful because you're seeing the marrying of two critical things for our past, our present, and our future also. And that's one of the great things about the Oral Tradition Roots Foundation. You're always moving forward. Now, I know with this, of course, it means that you are going to be expanding, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes.
But does your target cohort remain the same?
Yes, we're looking at a critical age group,
Okay.
12 to 17. In 2002, the Ministry of Education put out a school discipline matrix and they identified that age group based on saying from 1 to 3. So we look at like 11, 12, 15, 16 thereabouts. So we say 12 to 17 as a critical cohort in terms of being susceptible to school violence. They are classified as chins, children in need of supervision.
Yeah.
Right? So we catering for that group and we're also catering for 18 to 30, which should be in the evening classes. And this, we coined this, they are PPE. They lack personal, professional, and entrepreneurial skills. They are being classified as NEET, not in education, employment, or training.
Right.
So we cater for that cohort of young persons, and we really need corporate support to get this project off the ground. And as I'm on that, because we have been accepted as a heritage asset in the inventory, we also submitted application and we have been approved HTAP, Heritage Tax Allowance Program.
Okay.
Right? Our registration number is 001.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
one. 001.
Right? Yeah, 001. So this now gives corporate Trinidad the opportunity to invest in this project and they could get back 150% tax allowance from the Ministry of Public Administration and artificial intelligence. We're changing.
We will, yeah. Now, let's go to the main question that we have to ask, of course, 150%. At the end of the day, anybody who hears that, as you'll see on your screen, as a tax allowance, it will definitely will incentivize you to get involved. But in addition to that, something that should also be an incentive is the work that is done by the Oral Tradition Foundation. So if you can maybe just walk us through a few of the things that you're looking forward to seeing taking place at this site and how it's going to positively impact society.
All our programs will be certified through the National Training Agency.
Okay.
Either CVQ, Caribbean Vocational Qualifications, or TTNVQ. So we'll be providing photography, television and video production, so they could come and job train right here. We're also providing youth development work, business administration, and we'll also be providing the students with CSEC courses like math, English, information technology, those type of courses. We also will be doing robotics, coding, web page design, of course, spoken word poetry, and these are things that we have been doing for years. We're not reinventing no wheel, right? It's just putting everything now under one literally roof.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful roof for it to go under as well.
Of course.
So when we're now looking at what is going to be, of course, I would say maybe perhaps the upgrading and preservation, what exactly are you looking for when it comes to corporate sponsorship? Do you specifically need funds, or are there other ways that you can help?
So the nice thing about the Heritage Tax Allowance Program, you could either contribute cash, goods, or services, right? So it's a wide net.
Yeah.
So you have some companies may want to contribute the cash, and all qualify with the 150 tax allowance.
Okay.
Or goods or services, right? You could supply the material to restore, because part of this restoration is to preserve that heritage finish, that antique look.
Yeah.
Right? And this project, there's no reason why you should not support this project. One hand, you are preserving a heritage asset, and the other hand, you are preserving our future asset, young persons. And there's no reason why nobody should not want to support this project.
Now, speaking about preserving the future, and of course you've been on the show before, you've been in existence, as you said, since 2005.
Right, yeah.
Maybe you could share with us this morning, for those who are looking on and are interested, just one of the successes of the Roots Foundation projects that have been completed.
Well, we started a program in 2017 called Abyssinia Journey of Change. Change stands for challenging harm, I like acronyms.
I realize.
Challenging harmful and negative gender expressions. And that project has been very successful in terms of, we have been to schools and communities, and the last time we did that project, we did a anti-violence reduction program in schools, and the students, because Roots Foundation is big on that, the students came up with what they believe could reduce violence in their schools. Because we make a mistake. We want to stop school violence, and then both of us having a conversation, excluding the young people.
Right.
It's not you and I fighting in schools. It's they fighting in schools. And I'll just share this. When we asked them, what is the problem? The children said, respectfully, Miss and them have problems, and we have problems.
Right.
So the children recommend they do a trauma sensitization workshop.
Wow.
And we call in a professional, and we did workshops with the teachers, with the students, and then we brought them together, and people started to cry.
Yeah.
Students realized that I was hating on Miss for not no reason, but for my personal trauma that I've been taught in, as we say, in school, and vice versa, because we adults are not immune to trauma, right? So we also transfer that into the classroom. So that, I think that was one of the most successful programs coming out of Abyssinia Journey of Change.
I think one of the things that's so beautiful about that is that you gave the students a voice as well.
They were shocked. They say, I say, of course. I said, not I fighting in your school, it's you fighting in school. Right? Because they say, Miss and them don't come to class. Why? Because of us. I said, well, how are we fixing that? You saying Miss don't come to class because of you, how are we fixing that? And they proposed, another school said, so we need to see our behaviors. So we did theater, where we brought in again professionals to reenact how they behave. Right? And they know, it was.
I can't even imagine their reaction.
It was interesting.
It
and
is very.
They asked for that, they say, so we need to see how we behave.
And that's one of the things that's so beautiful about the Oral Roots Foundation is the fact that, the Oral Tradition Roots Foundation, rather, that you spend the time with the students and you are so willing to incorporate them to bring about the change.
Course.
We are out of time, Mtima, but before we go, how can we contact you at the foundation?
Okay, check on social media, Roots Foundation TT, or my number is 479-4510. I think the whole nation knows my number.
479-4510. Well, Mtima, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
And looking forward to seeing this coming off the ground.
Yes, of course.
Wonderful. Mtima Solwazi, founder and the general manager of the Oral Tradition Roots Foundation, right here on the Now Morning Show. Stay tuned. There's more coming up after this break.
I'll go cross any ocean to find